goes on.
You seem like no hesitation tonight shooting as well. Like you're just getting them up.
All right, what's going on, my friends? Fifth quarter. I thought a little Eagles would be nice in preparation for the concert coming up on February 19th. And I got to be honest, the music sounds a lot better than talking about the game tonight. I hate basketball games where going in, I kind of know, and Chris kind of knows what the result's going to be. It's just a problem playing at Denver. And it has been since the Blazers became a team in the NBA, and they've had to make trips to the Mile High City, whether it's McNichols Arena or it's the Pepsi Center, or they call it Ball Arena. It doesn't matter. The result typically is the same. And the only good story that Portland has out of Denver was that Game 7 victory. But tonight, the Nuggets, I think they showed you, and for those of you who have watched them play throughout there, you understand this, but this is why they're the odds-on favorite in Vegas right now to win the Western Conference. And they're not even playing their best basketball right now. They've got improvements they can make defensively, but if you look at their talent level, the MVP play of Jokic, the way they get multiple guys involved, their ability to shoot, their dominance in the paint, and even on the glass tonight, they had 11 offensive rebounds. They just create a lot of opportunities for themselves. 32 assists, 11 offensive rebounds. They shot better than 50% tonight, and Jokic was his usual MVP self. 36 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists, and the rest is history. They get the win tonight. 122-113. Denver's won 7 straight. They sit atop the Western Conference with 31 victories. And the Portland Trailblazers now 2 games under 500. And I guess the good news for Portland is they come back home where they will have 6 straight games at Moda Center as we near the end of January and push into February with the NBA trade deadline coming up on February 9th. So that's where we're at. And that's where the Blazers are. They're going to come back home, and we'll see what they can do with the Sixers coming to town for a game on Thursday night. My man Chris Burkhardt is here. Burkhardt, nice to see you again, my friend. Always a pleasure to do the fifth quarter with you, brother.
Yes. Oh, likewise. It's so nice.
Well, the studio ghosts have entered back in, so we will see how things proceed tonight here on the fifth quarter. But Jokic, we talked about him in the pregame today. He's so much fun to watch, man. That guy is a baller, a straight baller. Triple-double tonight, did it all.
It's not fair, man. When you talk about a unicorn, he's a true one. Like, it's an overused term, but that is a true one.
It applies to him.
He can't be stopped. He does so many things so well. It's just unreal, man. And when you look at that team in general, like, I think fans are upset because they lost in the YouTube chat already. What happened tonight? They didn't show up. Blah, blah, blah. Like, what did you expect? Blazers versus the number 1 team in the West, the team that's riding high, has weapons on weapons on weapons. That's a tough win for the Blazers, even if they are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. Yeah, the Nuggets are tough. They're legit. I mean, they're one of those teams. We talk about the West, or heck, the NBA being wide open this year. The Nuggets right now are definitely one of those teams that looks at the landscape and says, if we play our best, we have a chance to get to the NBA Finals. Why wouldn't they think that? They've got all the tools.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Porter Jr. can shoot the three. Jamal Murray's rounding into form, being the guy that we used to know. And you've got Jokic, who's the MVP. But what I like, too, is their depth. They got a number of guys up and down the roster, off the bench, guys who can fill it up, guys who can play in a variety of different ways. I like their roster, and I like their coach, Michael Malone. They're good.
I think it's something to be said about the way the culture is there right now, too, because they won that game today without Coach Michael Malone on the sideline. So, I mean, it just keeps churning, right?
Rick Adelman's son stepped in and did a heck of a job. And he's actually the guy that told, I think it was Dwight, or maybe it was Dwight who was talking to Rick Adelman and sharing some things that his son had said about the team. What I love about Jokic is, according to Adelman, Jokic is one of those guys, even though he's big time, makes huge money, MVP, superstar, back-to-back MVPs. He said that anything the coaches want him to do, the answer is always yes. There's no resistance. There's no pushback. He's just an ultimate guy in terms of he'll do whatever the coaches ask him to do. And I'm a firm believer that when your superstar is willing to do whatever the coaches want, then everybody else is going to follow suit. Because if Jokic is being coached and he's saying yes and he's willing to step out and do all the little things, it's going to make everyone else better. That's leadership. That's setting a good example. And not every superstar does that. Dame does it here in Portland. Jokic does it there in Denver. But not every guy's the same way. But I like the way he's wired. And he's got that jolly-go-lucky kind of carefree thing. He does, like most Euros, complain about every call.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had people reaching out to me about that. But that's pretty much every NBA star nowadays.
Every single one of them.
Including
Every single
Dame.
one. Yes. Don't act like Dame doesn't.
Nurk does it. Dame does it. Jokic does it. Most of the stars do. LeBron, everyone looks at the official like, what are you doing? How could you call that?
Oh, yeah. Everyone says it's a Euro style, but I think the king of the complaining was Tim Duncan, man. That was the guy.
He was the king.
Yeah.
He would look at the official with that face where, like, I can't believe you called that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched him one time, and this is when I knew he was the ultimate complainer. He's on defense, whistle blows. He turns around, looks at the ref with the classic Tim Duncan, wide eyes, hands up. What? It was an offensive foul. It was on the other team, but he was still turning around to complain about a bad call.
He and Derek Fisher are two of the worst in terms of always complaining about a call. And then, of course, Doc Rivers takes the cake when it comes to coaches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, yeah, the Nuggets get the win tonight. Dame, he brought his A game, 30 points in the first half. He scored 44 tonight. He had 40 in the previous game. He's obviously in a groove. He was 12 of 20 from the field, 6 of 12 from downtown. Also kicked in 8 assists. I mean, he was spot on and helped the Blazers stay close in this game. It was weird because, even though the Blazers were within striking distance for the majority of the game, I never felt like they had a handle on this game. It always felt like Denver was in control, and I think it was basically midway through the third quarter, Dame had hit a shot and pulled the team to within 5 at 87-82. And you thought, okay, they can make a push here. And then Denver responded with a 14-7 run to close out the quarter. And then after that, Portland never threatened in the fourth quarter. It was just a game that the Nuggets were in control of from start up until finish. That's what it felt like to me as I was watching it.
Yeah, absolutely, start to finish. And when you start looking at the box score, look how that thing played out. I think there's things that you can be irritated about or hope could be fixed, right? I think one of those right off the bat is Yusuf Nurkic. I mean, he's been consistent for the last, 2 weeks? Getting these doubles, had these 22 and 10 performances against the Mavs, comes out in Denver, puts up 6 points, and just doesn't look the same that we've seen him for the last 4 or 5 plus games.
No.
You don't Dame doesn't go for 50, 40, 40 and then turn around the next night and have 6. That just doesn't happen.
No.
And I'm not upset with Jeremy Grant getting 18, but I am upset with Ant getting 14. He's your number 2 guy, your shooting guard. You want him to go get buckets, and he's struggling to really find his groove. So.
Yeah, those two guys were brutal tonight. Anthony, 14 points, just 5 of 15 shooting, 2 of 10 from 3. And then Nurk, a lot of the same issues. Once again, 2 of 9, 6 points. He had 10 boards, but 4 turnovers. 4. And it was a night when the Blazers once again did an admirable job in terms of protecting the ball. They only gave up 13 turnovers, which turned into 5 points, which is good, but 4 turnovers for Nurk. And it's just the same thing. It's, I came to terms with what Nurk is maybe a year and a half ago. He's a good player, not great. He's inconsistent. And so I just know what he is. So he'll have stretches where he plays really good basketball, and he's going to have stretches or games like we saw tonight. I mean, basically ineffective, not a difference maker. And while he's out there just bumbling around, Jokic is out there playing like an MVP. The Nuggets made their choice for a reason, and that's because Jokic is on a different level. Yeah. All right, we'll keep things rolling. Fifth quarter, Chris Burkhardt, Chad Doing with you. We appreciate your time. Oh, don't forget, we're on YouTube as well. Travis Demers did something tonight that now puts him in elite level status as a play-by-play man in professional sports. It's so good that Chris and I, in the middle of the game, talked about it. He pulled the clip, and now I've got it saved in the archives of my phone. It's so good. And I'm going to pull it up. If I'm having a sad day or a down day, I will pull out this clip and play it because Travis Demers has made the world a better place. Has he not, Burkhardt?
Oh, he did. He did.
It's beautiful. Props to him. We'll play that for you. Nuggets get the win tonight, 122-113. You've got the fifth quarter on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, fifth quarter. Nuggets over the Trailblazers tonight at Ball Arena in Denver, 122-113. And Jokic had a triple-double, 36 points, 12 boards, and 10 assists. But really, the story of the night, it wasn't Dame and his 30 points in the first half. Had 44, a game high. And it wasn't Jokic and his triple-double. It wasn't the Nuggets winning their seventh straight. It wasn't anything like that. It came in the first half, and it's all off the call of one Travis Demers, who tonight has entered into a new level where he belongs with names like Iron Eagle and others for greatness. Take a listen to this beauty he put together. I don't have to explain it. Just listen and see if you can pick up on the phrase that pays.
Simons to Nurk. Bounce pass to a cutting Dame. Throws it to the corner. Bounce pass to Grant. Wide open three. It is good. Jeremy Grant hits the thruple to give the Blazers the 55-54 lead. Timeout Nuggets. 4:05 to play in the half.
Like I said, legend status for one Travis Demers. I had the TV call on in the talk studio. I was checking out Calabro and Michael Holton tonight, and I see every once in a while, because Burkhart's a pretty even-keeled guy when he's over there doing his own work, and all of a sudden I see this weird body movement followed by extreme laughter, and he storms out of the control room and heads right over to the studio, and he goes, dude, you're not going to believe what Travis just did. And he pulled the audio, and I listened to it, and I'm like, wow, you've got to be kidding me. Take a listen once again to Travis Demers with the legendary play call.
Simons to Nurk. Bounce pass to a cutting Dame. Throws it to the corner. Bounce pass to Grant. Wide open three. It is good. Jeremy Grant hits the thruple to give the Blazers the 55-54 lead. Timeout Nuggets. 4:05 to play in the half.
Oh, my gosh. Like Burkhart, that's high level right there. That's high level. To squeeze that in light of what has happened on this show over the last week, legendary status for Demers. Travis, I'm proud of you, my friend.
Jeremy Grant hits the thruple. Jeremy Grant hits the thruple. Jeremy Grant hits the thruple.
Money.
Oh, it's so good. So good. Thank you, Travis. I needed that. The listeners needed that. We all needed that. That was high level. Beautiful. B-E-A, beautiful. All right, Blazers fall tonight, 122-113. For Portland tonight, it was all about Dame. 44 points, 12 of 20 shooting, 6 of 12 from three. Connected on all 14 of his free throws and dished out 8 assists. Josh Hart finished with 4 points on 2 of 5 shooting. 18 for Grant. He was 2 of 4 from downtown. 14 for Simons on 5 of 15 shooting. Off the bench, Shaedon Sharpe led the way with 13 points in just under 18 minutes of action on 5 of 7 shooting. Good balance for the Nuggets tonight. Michael Porter Jr. with 23 on 9 of 13 shooting, hit 4 threes, and he's got a lightning-quick release, a long body, very difficult to block his shot and contest. Aaron Gordon had 11 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. Good all-around game for him. Triple-double for Jokic, 36 points, 12 boards, 10 assists. They got 17 from Jamal Murray. And Bruce Brown led the way off the bench with 12 points. The Nuggets dished out a grand total of 32 assists, and they pulled down 11 offensive rebounds. You know, the big issue for Portland tonight is that when they needed to get a stop or a series of stops to really make a run at it, they just couldn't do it. And they couldn't get stops when they had to with their defense, and that's something that is going to require more work. They've shown some improvement, but the defense is going to continue to be an issue because as you advance, as you make that stretch run, as you play better teams, you know, you're going to go up with teams who know how to score. And the Blazers are going to have to be able to lean on something outside of Dame and their ability to hit shots from distance. You know that, and I know that. You got to get stops. You got to find different ways to win games, and sometimes that's a matter of being physical and getting after it. All right, fifth quarter, Nuggets get the victory. It's time to get you up to date around the association, courtesy of Hail and A.
The fifth quarter on 620 Rip City Radio presents the Scoreboard Report, brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill, A-Lene's ultimate venue for sports fans every Monday night, featuring beer and wing specials and more.
All right, let's get you up to date around the association. Right now, fourth quarter in Los Angeles. The Sixers lead the Clippers 104-98. Joel Embiid with 37 points and 7 rebounds. The Sixers will be in town on Thursday at Moda Center. Finals from earlier. Bucks over the Raptors 130-122. Drew Holiday with 37 points and 7 assists. In San Antonio, the Spurs topped the Nets 106-98. And the final in Denver tonight, Nuggets over the Trailblazers 122-113. 36-point triple-double for Jokic. Dame had a game-high 44 points. And that is your scoreboard report, courtesy of A-Lene. All right. We're having issues tonight, so no phone calls because the connection is not such that would allow for clean calls on air. And so Chris and I are just praying that we don't have any other technical setbacks throughout the evening, but so far, so good. Let's get to our shot of the night. I think we all want to hear this one again.
It's time for the Nothing But Net Shot of the Night, here on the fifth quarter, 620 Rip City Radio. The Nothing But Net Shot of the Night is brought to you by Oregon Dungeness Crab. Sustainably harvested, uniquely delicious, and always wild. Oregon Dungeness Crab. Always sounds good for dinner.
Simons to Nurk. Bounce pass to a cutting Dame. Throws into the corner. Bounce pass to Grant. Wide open three. It is good. Jeremy Grant hits the thruple to give the Blazers the 55-54 lead. Timeout Nuggets. 4:05 to play in the half.
You know what's great about that, Chris, is that not everyone knew what he was talking about there, but fifth quarter listeners, they knew.
Oh, they know.
They know. And you know if they heard that live, that had to be like, wait, what? Did he just say what I think he said?
Jeremy Grant hits the thruple.
He did. He said it.
Oh, he did.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. That's right up there with Ian Eagle and Richard Jefferson with their 69 references.
Nice.
Nice. Paying tribute to Gronk. You got to love it. All right, we'll keep things rolling on fifth quarter. Nuggets get the win tonight, 122-113. We'll come back and we'll step into the coach's corner and take a listen to Chauncey Billups. Coming off the loss tonight, Portland back home on Thursday to take on the 76ers. We'll have game day at 4:30 with the tip-off at 7 here on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, fifth quarter on 620 Rip City Radio. Also, our YouTube chat. You can go to YouTube right now and plug in Rip City Radio, and right there on the homepage, you'll see the live link for the fifth quarter, and you can join Chris and I in studio. And, of course, click and subscribe. We have a lot of great content up there that you can check out. The Blazers fall tonight, 122 to 113. They're going to be back home to meet the Sixers on Thursday. Let's step into the Coach's Corner.
It's time for the Coach's Corner with Chauncey Billups on Blazers Game Day, presented by Henderson & Daughter. Henderson & Daughter has been supplying superior design service, quality windows, entry doors, patio doors, and window installation to the Portland and Southwest Washington area since 1977. Before you decide to just replace your current windows or exterior doors, have our designers present you with a free in-home design consultation and estimate to show you the different styles we carry that can give your home a fresh new look. Henderson & Daughter, your window and door experts.
All right, here's Coach Billups following the Blazers' 9-point loss tonight in Denver.
That stretch at the end of the third really kind of hurt us. We had a couple chances to cut into it pretty good. Just couldn't get over the hump. But we kept fighting. Obviously, Dame had it going. We couldn't stop them. I thought in the first half we gave up like 26 transition points in a half. And they are the best in the league at it, but that's a lot. And then we came out, we started turning it over a little bit. And in the third quarter, I think 3 turnovers pretty early. Passing turnovers, live ball, so they can get out and go. You can't absorb that against this team, in particular here in this building. So, it got away from us a little bit, and it's a good team though. Give them credit.
You've talked about kind of team improving and playing better as of late. How would you kind of categorize this game? I guess obviously you didn't get.
I thought we played well, man. I thought we played well. We didn't win the game, but we played well. We had some tough stretches that cost us.
How tough is it with the road losing streak? Does it start to creep into the guys' minds, or?
No. Every game is one game. We've proven already. We're starting to get healthier. We've proven that we've got some big-time wins on the road this year. So, no, we don't even think about that.
Heading home to play 6 straight, what are you kind of hoping to accomplish in that?
Yeah, it's just good to be home. It'll be good to be home. Obviously got some very quality opponents coming in, starting with Philly, who's a really tough team, with Big Embiid and Harden. So, tough, tall task, but we're looking forward to just being at home, playing our build in front of our fans.
There you go. There's Coach Billups. Blazers back home to take on the Sixers. And it is what it is. The Nuggets are a better team. No shame in the loss tonight. All you can do is move on and get ready for the Sixers. And Burkhart, you and I have talked about this. Who cares about the result tonight, man? The next 6 games at home are critical. They got to win, I think, 5 and 1. They need to win the majority of those games. It's not going to be easy. They got some difficult teams coming in, but they got some winnable ones too. They got to take full advantage. No jacking around.
Absolutely take advantage of being at home. I mean, if you listen to Game Day, this was a game that Dwight kind of thought that, again, it's going to be a tough one. It's a historical house of horrors for them to go play in.
Forever.
You got Jokic. They got that team healthy. It's just going to be a tough one. I didn't think the Blazers actually played bad. If they would have just got a little bit more from some of their auxiliary players, it would have been good. But this one, you just take on the chin, move on. Don't sit on it, because you got some real winnable games at home you got to take advantage of.
All right, it's time for our poster play of the night here on the fifth quarter.
The fifth quarter poster play of the night is brought to you by Collection Connection, the leaders in framing sports memorabilia, team awards, and so much more. Collection Connection offers you a one-stop, full-service framing experience. Find them online at COLLCONN.com.
Staying with the bounce pass to Eubanks. He drives and hammers it down with the right hand.
All right, Burkhart, I should mention that I just recently flipped through all of my different apps, right? Like Messenger and Instagram and all these different spots where it's hard for me to keep up with all the different ways people can access you and get messages to you. So I just did a quick check. Every single app I had multiple people reach out to me saying, dude, Travis just said thruple. Isn't that great?
That is
so good.
that is.
Jeremy Grant hits the thruple.
Little did I know when Josh made that call to announce the thruple and what was going on in his life that it was going to produce this moment. Thank you, Josh.
I had someone call in just the other day, like it's like it might have been one of our ticket winners or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, thanks, Lou. Oh, and by the way, that thruple stuff is blowing my mind. It's like, dude, like, everybody is in on it. Just, it's cracking me up.
Yeah. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, crazy.
Jeremy Grant hits the thruple.
That sounds better than triple or three, right? Or the money shot. Thruple that works.
Yeah.
It works.
I think it's one of those things that if you listen to, like you said, if you listen to the fifth quarter, you caught it. If you haven't, you're like, oh, that's kind of a cool new little wrinkle he added to call a three-pointer.
Well, what I'm thinking is now, and I will encourage Trav to do this, but I'm thinking like in big moments, like a big-time three, that's where you unleash the thruple.
Yeah.
It should be used again. Sometimes you don't know, and then you hear it, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's good.
I need these calls back to back, so you get like a.
Jeremy Grant hits the thruple. Get on up for the downstroke. Oh! Up and let's go.
So good. Thank you, Travis. Wow. You can reach out to me on Twitter at Chad in Rip City. All right, we'll keep things rolling on fifth quarter. Nuggets get the win tonight, 122-113. Chris Burkhardt and Chad doing with you here. Hard to believe that we're in mid-January now. 38 games to go, and the season ends on April 9th on Easter. That's wild. Trade deadline coming up February 9th. That is a key date as we all look ahead to what could be with the trade deadline. What's going on in the minds of Bert Cole and Joe Cronin? All right, fifth quarter here on your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
ORG.
on Thursday with the Sixers, Burkhardt. It's going to be tough. Sixers right now going to get a win down in L.A. against the Clippers. Are on top by 17 with 2 minutes to go. Should be an interesting matchup with Embiid. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another tough one. You get, I mean, gosh, how often does any center in the league get Jokic and Embiid back to back, right? And then you add James Harden in there, the other weapons that they have that are going to stretch that Blazer defense a little bit, and they got tons of length too defensively. It's going to be another tough game for the Blazers. One that's winnable. I mean, the Sixers are good, but not as good as I think they thought they were going to be at this point of the season. But they're still good. Do not get me wrong. But it's just another tough challenge for the Blazers, man.
All right, here's what they got coming up on the homestand starting on Thursday. Thursday against the Sixers. Tip-off at 7. Sunday, the Lakers are in town. 6 o'clock tip from Moda. And then Monday, they play the Spurs. Wednesday, the Utah Jazz. And then they finish out the 6-game homestand against Toronto and Atlanta before they take off for 3 to kick off February. Memphis, Washington, Chicago. And then they have a couple of games right before the deadline at home against Milwaukee and Golden State. The Warrior game will be on February 8th. The trade deadline the next day on February 9th. The Blazers do not play on that day. So that's what we got coming up. Big games for the Blazers at home. They've got to win, I mean, to get themselves where they want to be, probably, at least 4, no less than 4 of those games. Let's see if they can do it. It's going to be a challenge. All right, let's get to our drive of the night here in the 5th quarter.
It's time for the Portland Trailblazers Drive of the Night here on the 5th quarter, hosted by Chad Dewing, 620 Rip City Radio. Drive of the Night is brought to you by Dick's Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Wilsonville, ready to compete with the lowest prices in town.
Left hand picks it up into the corner. Caldwell Pope catch and shoot 3. That's no good. Rebound, Najee goes back over the rejected again by Eubanks, and he puts Najee in the vault. Now to Jeremy Grant on the baseline. The lob to Little, and he stuffs it in.
All right, 5th quarter. You got any final thoughts on everything tonight, Burkhardt? What's going on in your mind? Travis Demers is amazing. What else?
Jeremy Grant hits the thruple.
No, the only real thought is I'm not making excuses because I don't think there are excuses really to be made in this one. I just think that, I expected Denver to win this game, man. I think the real test for the Blazers, it wasn't as much going into Denver for a 1-game trip. I think this next 6 games is the real litmus test, right? Like this is where you figure out which way you're going to go because you have 6 games at home, winnable games. You're basically healthy outside of Justice Winslow right now, who could return in another week and a half. So these 6 games are really going to be the barometer for where this team is moving forward, in my opinion.
I agree, and I feel the same way about tonight. I didn't expect them to win. Hey, look, Denver's a better team, so it is what it is. It's a road game. You lose to Denver. That's nothing new. You just come back home and you get back to work, and really, I think the main objective, it's pretty simple. Just string together some wins. String them together and make it happen. All right, that's going to do it for us on the 5th quarter tonight. Again, our next Trailblazer broadcast will come up on Thursday. Chris and I will have game day at 4:30 with the tip-off against the Philadelphia 76ers at 7. And, of course, you can join us tomorrow, Rip City Drive. Chris Haynes is going to join Dwight and I at 3:20 tomorrow. Chris Haynes at 3:20, so we'll get his take on Dame, on the Trailblazers, and get his thoughts as we near the NBA trade deadline. And I think that's going to be fascinating to see, what he's hearing, what he's heard, and what could possibly be coming up for the Blazers at the deadline, because I really can't wait to see what Burt Cold and Joe Cronin are going to do. All right, big thanks to all of you on YouTube for listening tonight. Sorry that we had no phone calls tonight, but we're still working through some configuration in the studio, and it's important that we get those things tightened up, and we will do that. So keep it coming. You can reach out to me on Twitter at Chad in Rip City, at Chad in Rip City. Your final score tonight from Ball Arena in Denver, the Denver Nuggets over the Portland Trailblazers by a final score of 122-113. For Chris Burkhardt, I am Chad Dewing. Have a good night, my friends. We'll talk to you on Thursday.